Hi, my name is Joao Manangan and I'm here to discuss the tradition of Indonesia. The vast archipelago of Indonesia is home to many traditions and cultures. Separated by the sea, each island has their own language, customs, and a way of life. The Indonesian culture is formed by the indigenous people as well as influences from China, India, Europe, and the Middle East. It varies from traditional to contemporary. Religions also have impacted cultural assimilation, creating the most diverse society in the world. When discovering Asia, don't overlook an amazing Indonesian adventure. Instead, go island hopping and find out the uniqueness of these best Indonesian traditions. Number 1. Kasada, the harvest offering ritual. Exploring Bromo is incomplete without enjoying the annual Kasada ceremony. So be sure to include this in your list of things to do. It always held on 14th of Kasada, according to the ancient Javanese calendar. At Mount Bromo, the purpose of Kasada is to commemorate the sacrifice of Raden Kusuma, the son of Jaka Seger and Lara Anteng, people respected by the locals. The Tengeris people will carry up all of their offerings, the harvest and poultry to the peak and throw them in the crater. Meanwhile, some performances like Jaranan are held in the village. Number 2. Rambu Solo, Toraha's funeral ceremony. Rambu Solo is a traditional funeral ceremony held by the Toraha people. The aim of the ceremony is to address the spirit of dead people. They believe that a spirit will return to heaven. Puyo with their ancestors. The ritual begins with animal slaughtering, normally buffalo and pig. The social status depends on how many animals are sacrificed. The highlights you should see during the ceremony are buffalo fighting, singing, and line dances. Number 3. Murek, body hurting ritual. Murek is an extreme Balinese tradition held from religious purposes. The worshipper will hurt themselves by stabbing their body with a traditional knife called keris. During this ritual, participants are taught to become possessed. Murek or Nguyen traditions aim to serve Sangyang Widi Wasa, the god. You can watch this unique tradition in almost all villages across Bali. Number 4. Pasola, war reenactment with horses. Pasola is one of the exceptional traditional ceremonies of the Sumba people in East Nusa Tenggara. It's always held every year from February to March. The aim of the tradition is to get God's blessing for a better harvest. Pasola literally means a war play. It occurs between two groups of men dressed in traditional costume, holding blunt wooden spears, all while riding their horses. You can enjoy this ritual along with the crowd in an open public space. Number 5. Pahombo Batu, jumping over boulders. Pahombo Batu or stone jumping is the features of Nayas Island culture. It's performed by a young man who dressed nicely in traditional costume. You should jump over a 2-meter or 6.5 feet pyramid of stacked boulders. During the jumping procession, the visitors can enjoy the man showing his skills from a distance. If the local young man can challenge himself to jump over the stones, it means that he has reached maturity. Number 6. Kebo-Keboan, asking for rain festival. Kebo-Keboan is another unique tradition in Banyuwangi, which asks for rain. The ceremony is always held during the dry season and it's held in all Osing villages. The participants dress like buffaloes by smearing their body with oil and wearing 2 horns on their head. The locals believe that buffalo symbolize power. The buffalo men march and dance excitedly along the street. Number 7. Tabuik, welcoming Islamic New Year. Tabuik is actually a religious-related tradition in West Sumatra. It aims to welcome Muharram, the first month of the Islamic year. Locals carry a tabuik, a colorful coffin-shaped object made of rattan and bamboo, and float it through the sea. It also commemorates the death of Muhammad's grandsons named Hassan and Hussein. This tradition is a mixture of cultural practices between Tamil and Minang people. Number 8. Bakar Batu, cooking on hot stones. Bakar Batu was formerly just a cooking on hot stones ritual for Papuan people. Now it's not just cooking but also a festival for celebration like weddings, giving birth, or public events. Bakar Batu has a deeply symbolic nature of gratefulness and an aim to strengthen relationships. All villagers gather, light fire on tiled stones, and cook yams or wild boar wrapped in banana leaves. Finally, they eat this meal together. Number 9. Bamboo Gila, the crazy bamboo dance. A numinous tradition native to the Maluku is held by a group of men carrying bamboo. The locals believe that the bamboo has mystical powers and can become possessed. The traditional musical instrument is also played during the ritual. The music makes the bamboo dance sideways and the men carrying the bamboo follow the bamboo's dancing rhythm. Number 10. Parisian, rattan sword fighting. Parisian is a fighting tradition between 2 men from the Sasak tribe in Lombok. They use a rattan stick as a sword and a shield made of buffalo skin. The fighter is only allowed to attack the opponent's back and shoulders. Traditional musical instruments such as aigong, kendang, traditional drum, and seruling, traditional flute, are played in the background.
Religion plays a major role in life in Indonesia, which has the largest population of Muslims in the world. Many different religions are practiced in Indonesia, and their collective influence on the country's political, economic, and cultural life is significant. The Indonesian Constitution states that every person shall be free to choose and to practice the religion of his or her choice, and guarantees all persons the freedom of worship, each according to his or her own religion or belief. The government, however, officially only recognizes 6 religions, namely Islam, Protestantism, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Indonesia has several flourishing religious communities that have lived in the area since ancient times. Indeed, Indonesia Indonesia was once the heartland of successive Buddhist and Hindu kingdoms that used to rule the region prior to the advent of Islam. Even today, the island of Bali is still a flourishing center of Hinduism. In order to preserve and to celebrate Indonesia's rich religious diversity, the Indonesian government has introduced the policy of Pancasila, which seeks to acknowledge and recognize its rich religious heritage. Indonesia provides its five major religions with constitutional protection and guarantees, thereby offering a progressive model of religious harmony in the Muslim world. Historically, immigration has been a major contributor to the diversity of religion and culture within the country, with immigration from India, China, Portugal, Arabian, and Netherlands. Before the arrival of the Abrahamic religions of Christianity and Islam, the popular belief systems in the religion were thoroughly influenced by dharmic traditions of Hinduism and Buddhism. These religions were brought to Indonesia around the 2nd and 4th centuries, respectively, when Indian traders arrived on the island of Sumatra, Java, and Sulawesi. Hinduism started to develop in Java in 15th century, with the Brahmin worship of Shiva. The traders also established Buddhism in Indonesia, which developed further in the following century, and a number of Hindu and Buddhist-influenced kingdoms were established, such as Kutai, Srivijaya, Mahapahit, and Sailendra. The world's largest Buddhist monument, Borobudur, was built by the kingdom of Sailendra, and around the same time, the Hindu monument, Prambanan, was also built. The peak of Hindu-Javanese civilization was the Mahapahit Empire in the 14th century, described as a golden age in Indonesian history. Islam was introduced to Indonesia in the 14th century, coming from Gujarat, India. Islam spread through the west coast of Sumatra and then developed to the east in Java. This period also saw kingdoms established, but this time with Muslim influence, namely Demak, Pahang, Mataram, and Banten. By the end of the 15th century, 20 Islamic-based kingdoms has been established, reflecting the domination of Islam in Indonesia. The Portuguese introduced Roman Catholicism into Indonesia, notably to the island of Flores and to what was to become East Timor. Protestantism was first introduced by the Dutch in the 16th century, with Calvinist and Lutheran influences. Animist areas in eastern Indonesia, on the other hand, were the main focus of Dutch conversion efforts, including Maluku, Nusa Tenggara, Papua, and Kalimantan. Later, Christianity spread from the coastal ports of Borneo, and missionaries arrived among the Turahans of Sulawesi. Parts of Sumatra were also missionaries, most notably the Batak people, who are predominantly Protestant today. Significant changes in Indonesia's religious landscape occurred during the modern period called the New Order era. Between 1964 and 1965, the tension between the Communist Party of Indonesia, or Partai Komunis Indonesia, or PKI, and the Indonesian government, along with some organizations, resulted in mass murders. Following the incident, the New Order government had tried to suppress the supporters of PKI by applying a policy that everyone must choose a religion. Since PKI supporters were mostly atheists, as a result, every Indonesian citizen was required to carry personal identification cards indicating their religion. The policy resulted in the mass religion conversions, backed by conversions to Protestantism and Catholicism or Christianity. The same situation happened with Indonesians with Chinese ethnicity, who mostly were Confucianists, because Confucianism was not one of the state-recognized religions at the same time. Many Chinese Indonesians were also converted to Christianity. Here are the 6 state-recognized religions. First is the Islam, second is the Protestantism, third is Catholicism, fourth is the Hinduism, fifth is the Buddhism, and lastly, the Confucianism. Islam. Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim majority country, with 88% of its citizens identifying themselves as Muslims. Traditionally, Muslims have been concentrated in the more populous western island of Indonesia, such as Java and Sumatra. In less populous eastern island, the Muslim population is proportionally lower. Around 99% of Indonesian Muslims are Sunnis. The remaining Muslims are Shia and are concentrated in East Province. The history of Islam in Indonesia is complex and reflects the richness and diversity of Indonesian cultures. In the 12th century, many predominantly Muslim traders from India arrived on the island of Sumatra, Java, and Kalimantan, where the religion flourished between 12th and 15th centuries. The dominant Hindu and Buddhism kingdoms of the time, such as Majapahit and Srivijaya, were in decline, and the numerous Hindus and Buddhists mostly converted to Islam. Next is Christianity. The government of Indonesia officially recognized the two main divisions in Indonesia. It is the Protestantism and Roman Catholicism as two separate religions. Roman Catholicism arrived in Indonesia during the Portuguese arrival with spice trading. During the Dutch East Indies era, the number of Roman Catholicism practitioners fell significantly due to the Dutch policy to ban the religion. The most significant result was on the island of Flores and East Timor, where the Dutch concentrated. Roman Catholic priests were sent to prisons and replaced by Protestant priests from the Netherlands. While the Protestantism arrived in Indonesia during the Dutch East Indies colonization around the 16th century, the Dutch policy to ban Catholicism significantly increased the percentage of Protestant believers in Indonesia. Protestantism has expanded considerably in the 20th century, marked by the arrival of European missionaries in some parts of the country, such as Western New Guinea and Lesser Sunda Islands. Following the 1965 coup, all non-religious people were recognized as atheists and hence did not receive a balanced treatment compared to the rest of the citizens. As a result, Protestant churches experienced a significant growth of members, particularly due to uncomfortable feeling towards the political aspirations of Islamic parties. Next is Hinduism. Hinduism or Hindu culture and religion arrived in the Indonesian archipelago in the 1st century, later coinciding with the arrival of Buddhism, resulting in a number of Hindu-Buddhist empires such as Kutai, Mataram, and Majapahit. Hinduism in Indonesia, formerly referred as Agama Hindu Dharma, takes on a tone distinct from other parts of the world. For instance, it never applied the caste system. Additionally, rather than focusing on cycles of rebirth and reincarnation, Hinduism in Indonesia is concerned more with a myriad of local and ancestral spirits. In addition, the religion focuses more on art and ritual rather than scriptures, law, and beliefs. All practitioners of Agama Hindu Dharma share many common beliefs, mostly the 5 points of philosophy, the Pancasrada. These include the belief in one Almighty God, belief in the souls and spirits, and karma or the belief in the law of reciprocal actions. Buddhism is the second oldest religion in Indonesia, arriving around the 6th century. The history of Buddhism in Indonesia is closely related to the history of Hinduism, as a number of empires based on Buddhist culture were established around the same period. The Indonesian archipelago has witnessed the rise and fall of powerful Buddhist empires such as Sailendra Dynasty, Srivijaya, and Mataram empires. The arrival of Buddhism began with the trading activity that began in the early of the 1st century on the Silk Road between Indonesia and India. Lastly, the Confucianism. Confucianism originated from the Chinese mainland and was brought by Chinese merchants and immigrants. It is estimated as late as the 3rd century Christ era that the Chinese arrived in Nusantara archipelago. Unlike other religions, Confucianism evolved more into loose individual practices and beliefs as a code of conduct, rather than a well-organized community religion or a way of life or social movement. That's the end of our video. I hope you learned something today about the religions of Indonesia. Till our next video. Bye!
Is everything in place? You weren't supposed to leave me. I know, but I felt it.
Firstly, you'll make a good impression by dressing smartly for business. Commanding respect is essential, and in a managerial position you'll be seen as a father or mother fish figure. A leader will have earned the position through either loyalty, seniority in years, achievement, or social status. Once someone has reached leader status, they'll be looked up to by the group, expected to make decisions, solve problems, and generally make things happen. In Indonesia, saving face is essential. Raising your voice, shouting, or putting somebody down in public is to be avoided. In fact, losing your call indicates a lack of self-control, so think hard about how you handle disputes. When giving feedback, make sure you do it diplomatically. Business in Indonesia is conducted in a harmonious, non-aggressive manner, and the communication style is indirect. If you come from a culture that tends to be more explicit, be sure to modify your style of communication when engaging in conversations. Indonesians are also group-focused and work well in teams this way. Although praise is directed at the whole group, any mistakes can also be shared between the group, reducing loss of face for all concerned. Make sure that you identify and deal with decision makers, but don't rush your counterparts. This will only work against you. To collaborate successfully with Indonesians, focus on building relationships and appreciating the importance of harmony. Remember that Indonesia is hierarchical, so make sure you observe this and remain respectful of how things are done. Equally, make sure you don't lose your cool and remember to avoid making anyone lose face. Finally, invest some time into learning how Indonesians operate.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.